Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special guest, my father, aka Billis, what I like to call him. We are going to come on in today and talk to you guys about something that's super exciting and super, I guess, worthy of knowing, if you want to say that. But here a few days ago, Dad, what's today's date?
Today is the 30th.
Okay, so today's what? Of December?
Yeah.
So today's December 30th. It is New Year's Eve, and 4 days ago I paid off all of my student loan debt. So woo! I am officially debt free, and I had to bring along the one person who helped me along this journey so he can give you guys some nuggets, and we can kind of give you guys some nuggets together on what I did to help myself become debt free and some of the things that he taught me along the way. So stay tuned.
Hi guys, I just want to share some biblical wisdom with you about money. We're trying to raise Mia. We did raise Mia in the word of the Lord, and so what we want to try to do is share what the Bible has to say about money. It's just a couple of scriptures from the Old Testament, the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verses 6 and 7, and it says this: Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Verse 7 says, the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender. Now what it is talking about training up your children. So you teach your children manners, things like, listen, don't chew with your mouth open, say yes ma'am, no sir, things like teach you to respect the elders, and you teach them other things, but do we really teach them about finances? And so when it says the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender, that should strike a chord in some of us. Now, if you look at the politics of the day, we have a lot of rich people in politics that govern over us, and then there are rich people that govern over them, you see. And so the borrower, person that stays in debt, is a slave or a servant to the lender. So when she got her gazelle-like intensity, when she got focused on paying off her student loans, boom, she's debt free. And to build wealth, having a lot of debt will slow you down or won't allow you to do it one way or the other. See, a lot of kids are coming out of college today, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in student loan debt, and then they got to go somewhere and get a job. So if they don't get the job of their dreams, they're dealing with paying back that student loan debt, possibly maybe getting a vehicle, possibly moving into an apartment or whatever. Once you free yourself from debt, you can start building wealth.
All right, guys, so just to give you a quick backstory, I graduated from undergrad in 2012, right? And so my parents paid for my undergrad completely, except, Dad, do you want to tell them why I have a little bit of a student loan?
Because one time we came home, or I called her. This is like 11:30, 12 o'clock in the morning, afternoon. She laying up in bed asleep, and I called her a diva. So I made her take out a student loan and pay part of her money to help her fund her own education, because that education was costing me and her mother. And if you're not out there trying to find Pell Grants or something to help yourself, then you can pay out of your pocket and see how it feels. So that's how she came up with the 3275,
So
we made her take out one loan. Go ahead.
it was a life lesson. I don't think me sleeping in was the problem. I think, because let me tell you, I had 4.0s all throughout undergrad. So it's not like I was lazy. Like, I was doing great in school, and I had worked 2 jobs while in school. But I think it was like, was it sometime over a break I had gotten smart with him or something? And you know how, like, you come home from college and, like, when you're in your parents' house and you're used to being on your own in a dorm and you stay up all night, I think I, like, was, like, hanging out, chilling, and then he said something to me and I got smart, so it made him mad. And then he was like, well, you can pay for your own tuition since you're such a diva or whatever. And I didn't believe him until, like, a week before classes were about to start, and he was like, you don't have your FAFSA filled out, and you're not going to have your tuition paid this semester unless you get a loan. So my smart mouth in my younger years kind of cost me about, what, almost $9,000?
No, it was 3275, I believe. That was the first loan you took out. The other loan you took out was during grad school, because you ran short
And I
for
already
one.
paid that off.
No, I'm just saying how you accumulated the student loan debt.
Okay, so I went to grad school and I paid for grad school out of pocket my first semester. I ended up taking out a little baby loan because I did not have a graduate assistantship at that point, and so I was a little bit short, so I took out a loan. Unfortunately, I was supposed to take out a loan for I think maybe $3,500, but they gave me a full amount of $7,000,
Yeah.
which is not what I asked for. So that was a little bit of a shock, to say the least. So yeah, other than that first semester, I paid for the rest of grad school out of pocket. Before I graduated, I ended up paying off that little loan that they gave me for the first semester of grad school. So basically, long story short, undergrad was paid for completely by my parents, other than that one semester where I took that loan out for being a diva. And then all of grad school was paid for out of pocket by me, except for the first semester, because I was short a little bit of money. After that, I ended up working like at 1.3 jobs and like really out here grinding, trying to pay that loan off, and then the rest of my semester out of pocket along the way. So I think there was a little bit of a loan from undergrad that I hadn't paid off. I hadn't paid off that one loan from undergrad at all. And I hadn't paid on it in like well over a year, I know, because I went back to grad school. I started grad school in 2014, right? So from 2014 to 2000, maybe 16, 15-ish, I hadn't paid anything toward the loan. So when I got out of school, I had over well over $1,000 of student loan debt, interest, just the interest
yeah.
on that loan from I want to feel like it was from was it 2012 where I got the loan, or 2011?
For what? Yeah.
Undergrad.
No, that loan happened probably about 2011. Yeah, because it was right before you
Graduated.
Yeah, before you graduated.
But it wasn't my last semester.
No, it wasn't your last semester. So.
Was it summer school?
Yeah, I had paid for one part of your summer school, and I asked you to go ahead and, if you could, take out another little loan, and I would pay you back. So what happened was we just kind of did a little teamwork thing. I didn't have all the money, because she graduated in 4 years from Bowling Green State University, so that was a great accomplishment. She stayed right there, but I didn't have all the money right then to pay for summer school and then the following semester. But I'm a man of my word, or at least I tried to be. And so I told her I would help her somewhere down the line with that last bit of her student loan, or try to pay it off for her. And we ended up spending a lot of money on giving her a graduation party when she graduated with a master's degree.
This grad school time.
Yeah, so and that was all good. But Mia is very focused, and when she gets focused and writes down her plan, she gets right into it. So I'm going to share a little bit with you right now, if I can, about compounding interest. And I want to read something to you, and then I'll just go ahead and explain a little bit to you. Here we go.
Okay. So keeping with the theme of compounding interest, which is what my kind of really, truly, sincerely compelled me and kind of catapulted me into aggressively paying off my loan, but I'll let him go ahead and go.
Okay. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. That's Albert Einstein. So compounding interest basically will work for you or against you. So during that period of time when Mia wasn't paying on her loan, it had compounded up to $1,000 extra.
Well over $1,000.
Well over $1,000 extra.
It was up to $1. Was it like $1.12 a day, or was it higher than that?
I don't know what it was, but it compounded every day.
Every single day, 6.21% daily. At one point, I was well over $1 a day in interest. So that means every single day, I paid an additional $1 and like some change in interest before I ever even got a chance to even hit my principal. I had well over $1,000. And I think it was like $1,111.
That's what
$1,111,
yeah,
something like that in interest.
Yeah.
Just in interest. Like, it was ridiculous. So, yeah.
Let me read this one more time, just the second part of it. Compounding interest, he who understands it, earn it. That means if you're investing money and that money is growing, you understand that compounding interest can work for you. He who doesn't, well, you'll pay it. You pay your minimum on your credit card, or you pay a little bit on this and a little bit on that, and that money's compounding every day on you. And here's what it says. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is a slave, a servant to the lender. Go ahead.
So basically, once I had figured out that I was paying that much in interest, I was like, this has got to stop. Now, mind you, I paid for grad school out of pocket the entire way.
Right.
I worked 3.5 almost jobs, like literally 14 hours a day. 14 to 16 hours a day I was working between part-time jobs and my graduate assistantship plus classes, but I was maybe only getting paid for at one point maybe 1.5 hours or up to 4 hours a day. I had internships, like it was unpaid internships. It was crazy. So once I finally graduated and started making a little bit of money because I was working part-time May, June, for about 2.5 months after I graduated, I worked part-time before I got my job, my full-time job now. And once I saw that money rolling in, I was like, we have got to pay this loan off because I absolutely hate owing people money. Like it does something to my soul. And so I started hitting it. I got focused. This one helped me get focused, and we came up with a plan to help me get out of debt quickly and aggressively. All right, so my dad has a reputation for being the tax man, the money man, and so he's going to tell you a little bit, just a little bit, hint, hint, about his background and kind of what he does, especially at our church, to help people who are really serious about getting out of debt.
Well, I'm a coordinator at our church for Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. I'm one of the coordinators. There's more of us. We have a team. And there are 7 baby steps that Dave recommends. And you can find this on YouTube, or you can Google it, or whatever it's called, the baby steps. And Mia, you tell them step number 1.
Okay, so I'm going to run through them a little bit, but here's number 1. Step 1 is to have $1,000 in an emergency money, or in an emergency fund. We call it emergency money. If you have an annual income of under $20,000 per year, you need then at least $500 in emergency money. So that was the first check I checked off my list. Because for me, and I think all of us, life happens, and the last thing I want to do, I remember, let me tell y'all real quick, I had my laptop clunked out on me right after I graduated, and I needed a laptop for the job that I was doing, and I found the laptop. I mean, it was like a deal sent straight from God, right? It was like a $200, the laptop was like $1,000.
Oh.
It was on super clearance for like $220, I think, and that was a crisis for me. Like, paying $220 for a laptop was a crisis. Like, I had no money. I had to literally borrow it from him. And I think it took me about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, just to pay the $220 back. Like, that's how broke I was. Like, so I'm not coming from like, oh, I'm a well-to-do family. Well, like, I mean, I grind, I work and stuff, but I'm not out here making like $60,000 a year. Like, $220 for a laptop was a real life crisis. So these things I'm not telling you like I don't have real life experience. I have experience because I've been broke for a long time. Let me tell you. Okay, so do you want to do step number 2?
Step number 2 says pay off all your debt utilizing the debt snowball except for the house. Don't pay your house off. Take your smallest debts first, pay that off, take the money that you were paying on that debt and pay the next smallest debt off. When that's paid off, take those 2 combined payments and go to the third one. And you work that thing as hard and as fast as you can, and pretty soon you will be out of debt. And the key to it is to stay out of debt. The Bible tells you in Proverbs 26:11, it says, as a dog returneth unto his own vomit, so does a fool to his folly. So once you get out of debt, learn a system to stay out of debt, like start paying cash for things. So you go ahead and meet with number 3.
Well, I'm not going to tell you all the other 3. I'll have them listed out.
Yeah, okay.
I'll have them listed out because I don't want the video to be too long. But you can definitely look up the Dave Ramsey 7 baby steps on Google. It'll come up. It's like a little, hold on, let me see if I can. It's like a full list, y'all. Like, I mean, it's any and everywhere. But I'll list them down at the bottom, the rest of them. All right, so long story short, I used the Dave Ramsey envelope system to pay off my debt. So this is just a quick little example. I make my own envelopes, guys. For me, everything has to be pretty in order to motivate me, because if it's not, then I'll just lose interest. And I'm really competitive, so that's a big factor too. But anyway, I use the envelope system, the cash envelope system, in order to get out of debt. And basically what that is I sat down, we sat down, and well, okay, he didn't help me sit down to make my budget, but he taught me how to make a budget. So I sat down. I only get paid once a month, guys. So my monthly budget, my budget is literally for the entire month because I only get paid once a month. And I came up with my budget. I think, so I had my net income. I took 10% off for my tithes off the top, like never even saw that money. I took it straight out of my budget immediately, or straight out of my monthly income immediately to pay my 10% for tithes. And then you said what, to pay yourself 10%?
Always,
Oh, here we go.
always pay yourself first. It's called the 10-10-80
Well,
rule.
after you pay your
10
tithes.
10-10-80 rule. It was taught to me. It goes like this. First 10% of your gross income goes to God. The earth belongs to the Lord.
I mean, and I took it off of my gross, not my net. So I took my 10% off of my gross income, not my net.
The next rule is pay yourself first, okay? But after you pay your tithes, pay at least 10% to yourself. And if you really like yourself, give yourself more money, okay? And then you live off the 80%. And if you can discipline yourself like that, you'll learn the 10-10-80 rule. First 10% of your gross income goes to the Lord, because the earth is Lord's. The next 10%, at least 10%, pay yourself. Don't go out and give it to nobody else, because rich people only get richer when you give them their money. Your money, at least, you know. So, hey, pay yourself and then live off the other 80.
So I paid myself the 10%, and I paid myself the 10% for my gross, not my net. And then I budgeted everything down. I think Dave Ramsey has a thing called, let's see what it's called, because I'm old and I can't remember. The zero-based budget, right? So I didn't know that was a thing until like 2 minutes ago when I looked this up. But basically every single cent that I earned was accounted for until I literally had maybe 25 cents to my name. And I really never let it down to 25% or 25 cents. I zeroed out. So every single penny that went into my check, that went into my account, was accounted for. And I'll tell you what I did with that. So basically I took my 10% off the top for my tithes to pay God, give to the church. I gave myself 10% off the top as well. I factored in, because I have my master's in clinical mental health professional counseling, so I have to have supervision regularly. So I factored, say that 3 times fast, in how much supervision would be for the month. I factored in how much gas I would use for the month. So I had an $80 budget for gas every month. I also factored in, what else? Gas, supervision. Did I do anything else?
Entertainment.
No, because I have a spending money envelope, so I don't break up my spending money into entertainment, hair, anything like that. Like, I have a set amount of money that I only put toward me. So if it's whether I'm spending all of it on buying candles, or if I'm spending all of it on food, or if I'm spending all of it on new clothes, I don't break it up, but I have a set amount. So I paid myself first, like that 10%, put it in savings, but I also gave myself a $300 a month budget. And I'm not spending more than $300 a month on myself, whether it's food, whether it's clothes, whether it's candles, whether it's my hair. Now, I will budget in my hair, because I only get my hair done once every 2 months, so I will add that into my budget. That's a little bit separately. And then you have to factor in like oil changes. That's once maybe every 3 months for me, so that would be separate too. But I had a spending money envelope, so let's just say this is my spending money envelope, and I would put, it's just $1 in here now, but I would put my $300 in there. I might only give myself $100 for the first couple days, and then have my mom hold on to the rest. But once my $300 is spent, it's spent, and I'm not going and borrowing from anybody else. I'm not taking it from anybody else. No other envelopes. Like, once my $300 in cash is spent, I'm done. And so for me, because I'm really cheap and frugal, literally seeing my money dwindle hurt. So I was very conscious of where I was spending my money and how much money I had left over, so that I didn't blow it all in the first 2 weeks. And being broke in grad school, I was used to being like broke, so I didn't have a problem living on $300 a month, because I was making way less than that. Well, I was making more than that, but I was living on way less than that, because it was going toward my tuition, since I was paying out of pocket. So that was really easy, making that transition from being a broke grad student to basically being a broke full-time employee, because all of the remaining of my money went toward my student loan. So I mean, we're really transparent here. I'm not bragging. This is just the only way to know is for people to tell you. I think I averaged about anywhere between $1,200 to $1,400 a month toward my student loan. And so I might not put it in all at once, because I would, like, you know, life might happen. So I might put $700 in as soon as I get paid, and then maybe a week before I got paid again, put that other $700 to have a combined total of $1,400 that would be hit toward my loan. But once I figured out, when I first made a big payment and I figured out that my compounding interest like once I had eliminated that accrued interest for that day, I thought I was done until the next day when I saw I still was accruing interest. It was just lower. So I was like, oh yeah, I just paid $700, so I won't have to pay any more interest. And then the next day it was like, you owe $700, or you owe like another, I don't know, I think it went down to maybe 90 cents a day instead of $1.25. So that really lit the fire under my butt to hurry up and get this interest paid off, so that I could start hitting my principal, because I paid, like I said, well over $1,000 in just interest before I ever touched my principal.
What I wanted to share with you guys is now Mia confessed, or gave you kind of what she did with paying off her student loan debt. So she said she was trying to pay at least $1,400 a month. Okay, now that she's debt free, we're working on baby step number 3, so she can have 3 to 6 months of emergency money saved up. And then we go to baby step 4, where she's going to try to save 15% of her gross income towards her retirement future, and towards basically trying to be self-sustained, or
Self-sufficient?
self-sufficient is the word. So if something ever happens to her job or her health or whatever, where she can't go back to work, then she'll have money coming in, streams of money coming in, where she can live off of that until she regroups and gets something else. Now I want to share this last part with you, and I'm going to have her read these books for you, okay? Just, hey, listen, just hold on a minute.
I'm not really gonna read the books.
No, just tell them what the book
kidding.
is.
Well, they can see it.
Can you see it?
So it says
Go ahead.
here. Well, you hold it, and then I'll make it so I can.
Okay.
There we go. What's it say?
It's-
The word on finances, topical scriptures and commentary by Larry Burkett.
Okay, that's great biblical reference to money. There's nothing new under the sun. God created the heavens and the earth. So Larry Burkett did a great job with this book. The next book I want to recommend to you.
Automatic income, how to use the power of dividend investing to beat the market and generate passive income for life by Matthew Paulson.
She got me this book for Father's Day. I'm going to have her read this book and show her how built in your tax code is a way to generate wealth and save money on taxes. And a lot of things that are in this book. It's a great book, $9.99, Amazon. I recommend that you get it. And the other book, we don't have it. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
We have it. It's
We
not
don't know where it is.
somewhere.
But you know.
It's at Goodwill, y'all.
Yeah. So get that book and read those 3 books, and I can guarantee you it'll change your life. And this is the last thing I'm going to say to you right here. Comes from the Bible and the book of Proverbs. You can read that every day, okay, throughout your life, and it'll make you wise. The Bible says in Proverbs 22:10, the wise man saves for the future, but the foolish man spends whatever he gets. So you can't save for the future if you're spending all your money.
That was Proverbs 21:20, not 22:10.
21:20?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm glad she's here. Proverbs 21:20.
Uh-huh.
The Living Bible translation, the wise man saves for the future, but the foolish man spends whatever he gets. Learn how to hang around with people that know how to earn money, invest money, and save money, and you'll be just like those people. So that's it for me. Appreciate everything. As you can see, my shirt right here, committed to...
Oopsie, let's see. It says committed to Christian fatherhood. I can't read, y'all. It's like a give or take.
Happy New Year to you. Hope it's prosperous. Hope it's peaceful. And may God bless you.
Yay! All right, y'all. So my dad dropped the mic and he dipped on out on me. Basically, what I'm teaching you guys, or at least what I'm sharing with you guys, is not impossible. It is difficult. It requires some behavior modification. I know it seems daunting to try to pay off your debt or your student loan debt, whatever it might be, whatever amount. I think mine was right around $9,000, including that $1,100 accrued interest that I had accrued over the last few years, but it's not impossible. I am not making ridiculous amounts of money. Now, I will be more than transparent with you guys. I do live at home with my parents, but I do pay my parents rent. Okay, like I pay them rent to live in their house, so I'm not living here rent free. I don't have any car payments because my car is paid off. It was paid off. It was a gift to me from my parents. It's the same car that I've had when I was 15 and a half. I am now 28. I'm still driving the same car, and it is a tank. I have no interest in getting a new car whatsoever. As long as it runs, that's all I care about. I don't have any kids, so that's something to to consider as well. I'm not married either. That's something also to consider. And I don't have any outstanding bills. So I do pay my parents to live here. I pay my cell phone bill. I pay my car insurance. I pay my cell phone. And then my health insurance comes out automatically in my check. So if you are a family of 3 and you have a little kiddo, or if you're newly married, don't take what I'm saying and be like, oh, well, this doesn't apply to me because, she's X, Y, and Z. Like, she's single, she's living at home, whatever. Because there are people who can still do this regardless of your situation. If you have $80,000+ of student loan debt, I'm not saying that you're going to pay it off in a year, because you might be able to pay it off in a year depending on how much money you make. But you can also allocate and figure out with a budget how much money you can spare each month to go towards your student loan debt. Multiply that by 12 and you'll know at least a year from today how much you'd have paid off on your loan. So for me, looking at the big picture, I don't look at the big picture. I'm not a big picture type of person. I like to look at things and take smaller bites and do like baby steps, because to me that seems more doable, and that's the way I kind of set my goals. I do a lot of short-term goals to get to a long-term goal. I don't start from 0 and go straight to 100. I'm a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type of person. Then I might jump from 5, 10, 20, from 20 to 40, and do it like that. But however it works for you. If the envelope system does not work for you, find a way that works for you. I have a separate savings account with my emergency money. It's a whole different bank. I literally drive over to the bank to deposit the money. I don't even have the credit card or debit card for that that checking account. I don't need it. I don't want to touch it. I also give my mom half of my spending money for each month. So if I do have $300, I give myself $300 a month. I'll give her 150 of them to hold on to, because I can't have the whole $300 sum of money in my possession, because I know how I am. So I give it to her, she locks it away, she does her thing, and then over time I'll be like, Mom, I need another 20. But I'll also count and see, well, I still have 12 more days left of this month before I get paid again, and I only have about $100 or $85, so I need to pump my brakes on my spending. Now, once again, my monthly budget, I allocate for gas. $80 a month for gas, no exceptions. Unless I know I'm going somewhere, I might put $90. Or if it's not a full 30 days before I get paid again, because I get paid on the 15th of every month, but depending on what day the 15th of the month lands on, so if it's on a weekend, I'll get paid the Friday before. If the 15th is a holiday, I'll get paid the day before, or whatever. Like Martin Luther King Day is on January 15th, so on January 12th, because MLK Day is on a Monday, I'll get paid January 12th, which is a Friday. So I'll know that from my last paycheck in December, which was December 15th, there's not a full 30 days before my next paycheck, because I get paid January 12th. So from the 12th, I'll get paid, but then February 15th, that's 32 days, 33 days, math is hard, 32 or 33 days. So I might have to give myself an extra little bit of a cushion, because I do average out about $10 a day of giving myself spending money. All right, y'all, I'm tired, I'm thirsty, my lips are chapped. Oh, don't mind my nails. I have gel nail polish on, and I'm trying to get it off, and it's like a whole process. So I got one hand off. I got to work on my dominant hand as soon as this video is over. That way my nails are put together. But anyway, Happy New Year. I'm excited for you guys to go into 2018 focused on your finances, focused on eliminating your debt, or at least cutting down your debt. My next goal, like my dad had said, is to start finding different streams of income, to have a more passive income, so that I don't have to go to work every single day. If I buy enough stocks or you know, do all these other things. Hopefully I'll have some money coming in where I don't have to, you know, work for the next 35 years. I'll have money coming in to help kind of give me a little bit of a nest egg, I guess. Another goal I have for 2018, we're going to see how aggressively I can kind of achieve this goal, is to either buy a house. I would love to buy a fixer-upper, or maybe move out and get my own apartment. I'm really hoping to get a house before I have to get an apartment, because I want, if I'm paying something each month, I'd rather pay a mortgage than rent, but that's just me. And I do have that luxury of having those options because I am living here. But like I said, I don't live in my mama's house rent-free, okay? So don't think I'm out here just living the high life, not paying anything, because I do pay them to live in their house, okay? So all that to say, Happy New Year. I hope you have a blessed, safe, and prosperous New Year. I will see you guys in the next video. My hope is to hopefully give you a more in-depth, detailed look about my cash envelope system, and maybe me stuffing some of my envelopes, because that is a full process. Maybe me, you know, planning out my budget for the month of January, but we'll see. So until then, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my dad. People say we look alike. I agree. I just feel like I don't look like a man. I look like a more female-friendly version of him with hair. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.